All right, welcome back to another episode of the Extreme Lifestyle Living Podcast. Now, today's episode is on a quick start to January and why it is important, how we're going to set it up, and everything in between, because it is officially 2020 motherfucking six, which is absolutely insane. First podcast of the entire year, first full week of the entire year, and it's just an absolute fucking just inspiration to start a new year. Everyone, if you don't get that like just natural fire under your ass, just to kind of like, at least attempt to be better in some way, shape, or form. Like you're just lying to yourself. I feel like, everyone sets a New Year's resolution. It's not so much about like being like the cheesy, typical, like, I don't want to say superficial, New Year's resolutions, but I'm just saying from the standpoint of like, starting a new year, it's like a new book, a new chapter, the clean slate, if you will. You know what I mean? So we all want to start off with the best habits, the best intentions, in the best systems and routines, and just try to be better. At the end of the day, we're all striving to be better in some way, shape, or form. We're not all being 110% complacent with every area of our life, just because you may not be as ambitious as the next person and want to like, change your life from these different standards or ideologies of other people. But at the end of the day, you want to be a better human. We all have that in common at the bare minimum. And it's the beginning of 2026. And, I was doing some light research, like, so it's not like fucking, like, it's not peer reviewed or anything like that. Like, I don't want you to take the numbers I'm going to share too literal, but I was looking into this stat because I always talk about, the success of January and how it impacts the entire rest of your year. If you show up for January, you crush it, and you really get ahead of just setting down that foundation of just being successful, showing up for yourself in the gym, movements, boundaries, standards, nutrition, meal plans, just like, focusing on being the best version of yourself in all these areas, and you lay the foundation fast in January, like what's that impact on the rest of the year? And some light research, doing some just calculations based on like populations and stuff. If you succeed in January, at the end of January versus the beginning, if you're doing better in any area of your life, or in, in this state, I want to talk about fitness and like, nutrition, intentions with food, showing up in the gym, being better with your programming and your sets and reps, and pushing yourself in the gym, getting, your movement patterns down packed, focusing on boundaries, protecting your peace and your energy for recovery, and, making sure you're focusing on the right things. If you end off January better than when you started, there's an 86% chance the rest of the year is going to be impacted from that 1 month. To look at it from the numerical standpoint to make it more sense, that's literally more likely of more like you're guaranteed success the rest of the year. Do you know what I mean? Just based on that momentum and that catapult into the year that you get. And when you look at that as odds, that's 1 in 12, 1 month out of 12 months of the entire year, this year being 1 month, the first month of January 2026, the impact is everlasting on the rest of the year. So why wouldn't you want to show up and absolutely just crush January? When it's a 1 in 12 odds, it's a 12, you're going to get 12 back fucking on return on investment 12 times, because you just got to put 1 month of effort into it now, because come February, March, April, May, it's a lot harder to rekindle that momentum, right? Because then you're going to be kind of flopping back and forth. You're going to be reactive, proactive, everything in that regard. So that's what I mean about that clean slate kind of getting into the new year. So if you're not inspired and motivated and fired up to just kind of get something set in stone, then, you should really check yourself, because it's time to show the fuck up, man, because we're going to take over this fucking year. And how you do this is literally, if you've been listening for the last little bit, we've been talking about a vision board. You got to have some type of vision for this year. So that way, what you need to be doing day to day, week to week right now to take advantage of the month. So if you haven't done your vision board by now, I highly recommend take time to do it. You don't have to have it done immediately, but just have some type of vision blueprint so you know where you're going. Like, to give you a reference for, like, I've updated mine 4 times since I've created it, and I've created it just like 10 days ago. So it's something that you want to update and adjust, as it just helps you stay focused on to where you're going. And the reason why it's important, like I said, is the vision. Because if you don't know where you're going, then you're just aimlessly walking around, which means you're not going anywhere at all, which is worse than looking at, knowing where you're going and failing and being like more articulate of where you're going and being able to measure something, if that makes sense. So not knowing where you're going at all is worse. So vision board is going to help put all that to play. And then you're able to articulate more of where you're going and why. So then after you have that, that's when we got to break down the habits as to what are your goals in terms of what your visions for because that's what the vision board does. It helps you articulate your goals, puts into practice where you can start applying it to just help you stay motivated and inspired each day. So for me personally, I'm doing 2 bodybuilding shows. So I know for me, I have to lock in my nutrition and lock in my movement in the gym 10 times out of 10. I can't have any room for errors because I have to have a higher standard for going to the bodybuilding stage and showing up. So for you, if it's just, balancing career, your family, your kids, whatever it may be, maybe you just want to like stay in motion, you got to find your own non-negotiables versus high standard. With me doing the show, I can't miss. So I need to know that's going to be a big pillar as to what I do each day and each week. So I'm going to have to block out time for the gym. I'm going to block out time for meal prepping. I'm going to have to put intention behind it and effort, and I'm going to have to account that that's going to take time, and then also with social gatherings and if I have to say yes or no to certain things. So I'm already preparing for that to make sure that I can, set in stone my schedule. So I know what I need to do each day of each week for the month of January to set myself up for success. Another big thing too is I want to work on my sleep habits, and I want to work on just being more consistent with things outside of working on business or, doing things with my clients or community. So my sleep, I'm setting a nighttime and morning routine. So I now know what I have to do each morning, and each night I can track it over the course of the week and reflect on it to make sure I'm gaining momentum first week of January, second, third, and so forth, to make sure I get as much as I can out of the month. So that's how we're going to track all these things. So same thing with you, whatever your goals are, is to put them on the paper, put them on the vision board, and then work backwards and build that little bit of system and accountability to make sure you're moving towards the right area of your life to see that success. And again, you crush January, you show the fuck up, and you do better than you are right now by the end of it, 86% more chance the rest of the fucking year is going to be a banger. So why would you not want to do that? I think a big thing too for you guys is to be aim super fucking high for your goals. Aim super, super, super fucking high. That's why the vision board is important as well, is because, like Emma, what she said to me is people that you idolize, put aspects of people you idolize and what they bring to the table in their life, and just take aspects of their life that you really enjoy, whether it's an influencer, an actor, an activist, or an author, a movie star, whatever it may be. Just there's things that inspire us and make us feel a certain way through life. And it's just all about us being more in tune with who we are to understand what those are, to make them operate. And that's how we put them onto a vision board and articulate them into the goals, so we can start building systems and routines to build the life that we want. And, so that's how you, the different qualities and standards of your life. That's a big thing too for self-development and just growing in general. So it's aim super fucking high. If you picture yourself wanting to be on yachts and, have financial freedom, and there's things or people that you watch that have that lifestyle, it's put things like that on your vision board to articulate it, and don't get all weird about your goals and be I don't think I'll ever be able to have a yacht or anything like that. It's not about having the yacht. It's about being in tune with the emotion towards wanting to show up. For me personally, when I first started, having a Lamborghini Urus and a private jet on my vision board was everything. And then I literally had bundles of cash on it as well. So that's what made me motivated, thinking about money and thinking about freedom and luxurious forms of life. I know deep down I didn't really want that, but seeing it reminded me of that. And that's what I'm saying here, right? And same thing for to give you more reference now, what I have on my vision board has nothing to do with that. It's just literally traveling. It's, a podcast studio. It's literally traveling. Most of it is just various places in the world that I want to go see. And then it's a couple quotes. It's a couple little pictures. One picture says, "Don't waste your time." Another picture says, "Consistency." Another one is literally a screenshot of a high sleep score for the Ultra Human Ring, which is what I use to track. So all these things just remind me of what I'm working towards, right? And that's what I'm saying with you. So just be very, very ambitious with these goals, and really think about it from the standpoint of what would really be the best version of you for the rest of your life. And 86% chance if you crush fucking January, this rest of this year will move towards that goal in all those different areas of your life, and it'll come to fruition. Do you know what I mean? So it is the first week of January 2026. I don't want to, again, it's not to say corny or anything like that, but that cliche, new year, new me, it's kind of true, but at the same time, it's not, because it's new year, same you, but new level of you, so we want to make sure that we just don't adopt that mindset of every time we get a new year, we have a new chance, because later on in the year, that sets up that mindset for just letting things go and, we'll start that next year. And you don't want to build that habit, but at the same time, I think it's incredibly fucking healthy to set new goals, new aspirations, for the fucking year. And I want you guys to be super ambitious for it, you know, because nothing is impossible. But what will make anything impossible is if you don't even fucking try. So you might as well try, learn, figure things out, and just be able to look back one day in your life and be absolutely fucking proud of yourself for how much life you've given, because it's not infinite. You know what I mean? So appreciate you guys all. Let's really take the first week of January super fucking strong, and let's just keep doing what we do best, which is lead from the front and set the fucking standards. Let's go. I'm a man of God.